Produce verbs, check out that wordplay.
Good Monday morning, everyone, and welcome to First Take. I'm Carrie Champion. Skip Bayless to my left, Stephen A. Smith to my right.
What's up?
Gang is in the house.
What's going on?
Welcome to springtime in Bristol.
Oh, Lord.
It's still snowing up here.
Can you believe that?
Snowing.
Still snowing.
You know what?
What?
I made a commitment. I didn't let the bosses know this yet.
Uh-oh.
But I have an announcement to make.
Make the announcement, my friend.
In 5 years,
Uh-oh.
2 things will be accomplished. They will be omitted from my life. Bad weather and high taxes.
Ooh, that could mean...
What does that mean?
Somehow, some way.
That could mean Florida? That could mean Texas?
That's my mission.
What?
Bad weather and high taxes. I'm sick of it.
We're moving to L.A.
I'm sick of it.
Well,
the tax.
That's still taxes.
Taxes.
All right.
I mean, it don't get much worse than L.A. in that regard.
I think I'm here.
love LA, though.
I think I'm here in South Beach in your future.
I love
South
LA,
Beach.
though. I love LA. I'm just saying.
The Clevelander?
I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
Live every day?
Every day at the Cleveland.
You know
Out
what?
at the pool.
Dan Levitar got it good. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Oh, don't even start. Those
I'm
two.
gonna leave it at
Those
that.
two. Don't even start with them. Okay, well, coming up on the show today, the Final Four has been set. The Final Four teams will obviously be playing. Who will meet in the championship game and who wins it all? No predictions, just debate. That'll happen in a few moments. Plus, Todd McShay will join us. There has been some movement in his latest mock draft, some quarterback movement. Who is it? We will share. But first, let's talk about it. It will be a rematch from a year ago. Kentucky and Wisconsin are meeting in the national semifinals for the second straight year. You may remember Aaron Harrison hit a heartbreaking game winner with 5 seconds remaining to give Kentucky a 74-73 win. It's the first rematch in consecutive Final Fours since UCLA and Houston met in 67-68. The Badgers are 5-point underdogs. So, Stephen A., how much of a chance are you giving Wisconsin?
I'm giving Wisconsin a legitimate shot simply because Kaminsky and this kid, who may be a better NBA prospect than him, and Mr. Sam Decker. This brother can play.
There I agree with you.
Decker can
I'm
ball.
with you.
Decker is a baller. He's
Yeah.
6'9".
Okay.
He can handle the rock. He's got a decent, even though it looked a hell of a lot better than decent jump shot Saturday afternoon. He's got a decent perimeter game. He can put the ball on the floor. He can get to the hole. He's a legit 6'9", and he's got heart. He can ball. He ain't scared. I love the Final Three, Skip, when he sat up there
said,
and just posed and just strutted down, and it was great. Yes, it was great seeing Aaron Rodgers cheering him on, too. That's right.
was not.
Why was it great?
You know why? Because he's a bad man.
Really?
And
wait, you mean the Aaron Rodgers who went to Cal?
Listen, that's right.
Oh, yeah, he went to Cal.
Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, yeah.
Don't be so disrespectful. Here's the bottom line. We can talk about that a little bit later, but I love seeing Aaron Rodgers there, cheering him on, the #1 citizen in all of Wisconsin, Aaron Rodgers. That Aaron Rodgers. But I'm telling you right now, Decker can ball. Kaminsky showed up, and I give them a hell of a lot of credit for playing the way that they play. Now, Kentucky is a different beast. We know they're on an elevated level. We understand that they're the Goliath. They're the one everybody needs to try to knock down. Notre Dame almost did it. I can sit here and talk about Kentucky, their greatness, their intestinal resolve, all the things that they went through, the way they were pushed to the limit, and somehow, some way, Carl Anthony Towns made a case for the Skip Baylesses of the world as to why
There's
he should
only
be
one
the
of me.
number one.
There's only one.
Why he should be the #1 overall pick.
Yep.
I'm not going that far, but I was impressed with what I saw from Mr. Carl Anthony Towns. You know, I was impressed that Calipari didn't try to engage in rocket science like a Pete Carroll would have done with beast mode in the Super Bowl, not giving it the ball. Calipari was the antithesis of that. He said, excuse me, I got the horse here. Let me give him the rock. Take me to the promised land. And that's exactly what Carl Anthony Towns did, 25-5, after not getting a field goal the entire game in the game before that, so against West Virginia. So I just look at it, and I just say, look, Kentucky's been very impressive. Euless, the Harrison twins, Booker, Lyles, I get all of that. But this is basketball. And if you got two brothers that can bring it, that can bring it, you can beat anybody on any given day. And I'm telling you right now,
I'm not sure about the brothers part of it.
Well, I'm just saying,
okay.
brothers from another mother.
Okay, I got it.
This is basketball we're talking
all
about
right,
here.
all right.
We all brothers when it comes to that. Here's the bottom line. Kaminsky and Decker together. They've got the size, they've got the ability, they can shoot, they know how to play, they hit free throws, they can make things very, very interesting. I'm still picking Kentucky to beat them, but I'm here to tell you right now, Wisconsin is even more of a threat than Notre Dame, because Notre Dame, good Lord have mercy, the way they played, they deserve so much credit for it, but they just were too small. And when it got to those last 2 minutes and 30 seconds, it was difficult for them to score on those trees. And that's exactly what happened to them. My hat's off to them. Valiant effort. But Wisconsin is more suited. And I told you this, remember, Skip, before the tournament even began. This was the one team that Kentucky needed to be fearful of more than anybody. Even more than Duke. Even more than Duke, even though I think Duke got a shot too. But even more than Duke, and by the way, Duke's got to get back past Michigan State now, but even more than Duke, Wisconsin.
Wait, did you just go upset on me there? Or
we'll touch on that. Kaminsky, Decker can cause Kentucky some problems.
You do love you some Izzo, though. I got to say.
I love Izzo.
Yeah. And you know what? That was his greatest job. He's a great coach who did a great job to get this team this far.
Yes.
I think that's as far as it's going to go.
Phenomenal
That's just
job.
me.
Yeah.
I still believe that Kentucky will hit the big 4-0, as in 40-0. But I'm here to tell you, to your point, if Wisconsin hits 10 threes in the second half against Kentucky, Kentucky's going down, because anybody would go down if you hit 10 out of 12 threes in the second half. Have you ever seen anything quite like what they did in the second half to Arizona? And finally, to your point about Decker, the last three, it's just, you want to talk about heat check, it's like heat from the sun check. Like, he's just saying, you know what, I'm just going to heave this. I'm going to shoot it because I know it's going in. And he arced it through the banners in the rafter down through the basket. And game was, obviously, that was the last dagger. But to your point again, Stephen A., on Wisconsin, this team plays as smart and as tough a game of basketball as you will ever see on the college level. Why? Because they start 2 seniors, and they start a junior, and they start 2 sophomores, so they don't start any or play any freshmen. Their 6th man coming off the bench, Traven Jackson, is he's a senior. So they're as experienced as you're ever going to see at a big level college basketball program. So my point to you is, you looking up stats?
Nope.
I think you're going to need some ammo here in a second. This game, to me, depends on how seriously Kentucky takes it. I'm here to say that I have only seen the real Kentucky for 1 game and 5 minutes of the NCAA tournament so far. I did not see Kentucky at all in the first 2 games because I don't think they took the first 2 very seriously. I saw them take the 3rd game dead seriously, thanks to Daxter Miles.
That's right.
And by the way, I got to give Daxter a little credit here, because in the big picture, I think he was more right than wrong. I don't think Kentucky plays consistently very hard. I just don't.
Wow.
I don't think they played consistently very hard against Notre Dame. I think they took Notre Dame mostly unseriously until about 5 minutes remained in that game, when all of a sudden they can turn it on the way I've rarely seen a college team be able to turn it on. You want to talk about guts and character, big game, late game character? This team has it. This team made its last 9 shots against Notre Dame. This team pulled away at a point when I thought they were in trouble. They're down 48-46. And I tweeted at that point, Aaron Harrison has 0 baskets. He's made 0 shots. And right on cue, he tears down the lane and dunks it. And then a couple minutes later, he hit the biggest 3 of the night. And then his twin brother hit the 2 free throws to win the game, and they make their last 9 shots. That's just too good to me, and that's what they are capable of doing to anybody. And if they take Wisconsin serious from wire to wire, take them seriously, I think they can beat them fairly handily. I think they can beat them by 10-plus points.
Skip, I don't think you're giving Notre Dame enough credit, enough respect. I mean, listen, Notre Dame was taken seriously. Notre Dame came out there. First of all, they slowed the game down a little bit. That's number 1. Number 2, they were hitting shots. Number 3, they were going to the basket. They were creating contact. They got Karl Anthony Towns in a little bit of foul trouble. Zach August, I mean, this boy came to play, okay? You can't take anything away from him as well. So when you look look at him, when you look at Vasteria, when you look at Grant, these guys, Grant didn't have the greatest game shooting. Obviously, shot 4 of 14 from the field, but he was still a threat out there. So was Connaughton. So was Vasteria. I just looked at them right now, and I got to give credit where credit is due, man. They came to play. They rose to the challenge, and I think Kentucky took them very seriously. It's just that, again, at the end of the day, their guard play, Skip, is impressive. They just didn't have the size. They was, excuse me, they were starting no one bigger than 6'8". You told Karl Anthony Towns had at least a 4-inch height advantage
although Zach August was playing him a lot, and he's 6'10".
No. I don't know. I think, let me look at it right here. I'm not sure he's 6'10". I thought he was listed around 6'8", 6'9". He is. He's about 6'10". He's about 6'10". You know, he looked about 6'8". I got to admit that to you. But I got to tell you, Karl Anthony Towns looked and played a lot bigger than I've seen him play this year. And I give Calipari a lot of credit for going to him and just saying, take me there. But at the same time, I think you got to give Notre Dame's guard play credit. This is basketball, Skip. When you have surreal guard play, you can compete with anybody. You can compete with anybody because those are the guys that have the ball most of the time. That's what Notre Dame knew going into this game. They knew they were going to have to get these guys to play lights out, and that's exactly what they did.
Okay, so you know basketball. I want you to help me out here. Tell me why one team out offensive rebounds another team. What's usually the main point there?
Well, it depends. Sometimes it's long rebounds. Other times it's effort. There's no question.
Just effort. That's what I'm getting
Sometimes
to, right?
it's about effort. Sometimes it's about long rebounds because if you're shooting jump shots, sometimes it's long rebounds.
Maybe that'll factor a little bit in.
That factors a little bit into the equation. You can't ignore that.
Okay. Kentucky has been out offensive rebounded for 3 straight games. There's a lot of where's the effort involved. There's a lot of I'm going to go for this block, but if I don't quite get this block, I'll just fall out of the play, and somebody's going to be standing back there and saying, oh, look what I found. I think I'll just lay it off the glass back in. 3 straight games they've gotten beaten on the offensive glass.
That's fair, but the big thing is that when you've got big boys down low, sometimes what happens is that the guards go out looking to run, looking to create opportunities off the break as opposed to being in the half-court set. And what happens is when you got a Karl Anthony Towns and you got a Willie Cauley-Stein and you know that they're down there, you can take things for granted from time to time when you're Kentucky's guards. Usually when teams don't get out-rebounded is because you rebound by committee. Everybody is crashing the boards. Everybody's going to help out. Kentucky, it's not a matter of effort sometimes. I just think that what happens is that Karl Anthony Towns and Willie Cauley-Stein appear so dominant that what happens is that you look at them and you say, well, they got that covered. Let's look to get out and run. And sometimes, especially with Willie Cauley-Stein, because he's so exceptional in the open court on the break, you can just throw it up there and he'll go get it. He's looking to run, so he leaves sometimes prematurely, and that contributes to it as well.
Okay, so let's look for the last quick point here at last year's game. Kerry brought it up. The 2 leading Kentucky scorers are not there this year because that was James Young and Julius Randle had 17 and 16 against Wisconsin. A 1-point win featuring, with 5 seconds left, a big 3-point shot by Aaron Harrison. Andrew made the free throws the other day. I keep saying he's the best clutch shooter in college basketball. Aaron is. Okay. But his brother, I was going to say his little brother, twin brothers, but they're both clutch, man. When it is time to make plays and shots, they will make plays and shots. They're the difference in the end of games. If the big guys keep them in the game, somehow in the end, those guys make clutch NCAA shots to get them over the hump in the game.
There's no question. I definitely agree with you there, and I expect Kentucky to have an advantage in guard play against Wisconsin, which is why I think that they could possibly survive. But make no mistake about it, Wisconsin is arguably the biggest threat to Kentucky because of how they play and how exceptionally well coached they are by Bo Ryan.
Saturday, 8:49 Eastern, Wisconsin, Kentucky. Skip believes they're still going for 40.
I do. 40-0.